The number of people displaced by war and conflict worldwide is the highest it's ever been. And of all the countries that accepted refugees, per capita, Sweden recently took in the most.
قبل ما أجي لهون يعني سمعت عنه أنه في تعليم وبيعطي الشخص حقه. Bye.
This is not the same country as it was once before. If you want a job here, take off your hijab.
But now, there are signs that this stronghold of tolerance and democracy is being swept up in the populist wave surging across the continent.
We got immigrant problem in pretty much every city, even smaller cities. All cultures are not equal. To claim that is stupid.
Så har jag försökt att ändra den bild som är många.
He always had the view that foreigners are dangerous to our society.
No, I haven't. We've never done that.
Some fear that this backlash could alter the course of Swedish society.
Okay, so the other day I was on my couch eating Cheetos, watching YouTube videos, and then I saw a comment that America should not be like Sweden and be taken over by immigrants and the crime and everything. And then I dropped my Cheetos on the floor and I was like, oh damn, I have to do a video on Sweden. Now this is gonna be the video. Probably I'm gonna do several because Sweden is quite different right now. Sweden, there is a rise in anti-immigrant sentiment because there is an incredible rise in crime. Now, before we continue with this video, please consider liking, subscribing, and let's see if there is a direct relation between immigration and the rise in crime in Sweden. Now, let's keep this respectful. I know these videos normally elicit a lot of racism and stuff. We can look at it objectively without being hateful. Now, let's go to this video and see what's really happening, how Sweden now has some of the highest gun crimes. It's even worse than Albania. And let's see.
In Sweden, police have seized a lethal stash.
These are some of the weapons that you've confiscated?
Yes.
This is just a small sample of the deadly arsenal taken off the streets.
We have automatic weapons, we have semi-automatic weapons, we have 3D weapons, printed.
Weapons from former wars are among those used by gangs in their urban battle. A battle where children become killers.
Some of these weapons are pretty serious. This has got a silencer on it. How young could someone be who's using this in a gang?
We're talking about very, very young people who could be 13, 14, 15 years old. During September and October month, almost every day in some district or some sector, we had shootouts, injured people, killed people, and during that period also, exactly like in war.
And Sweden's child foot soldiers are not only armed with guns. Explosives use has rocketed as gangs target rivals.
Now, can you believe that? Can you believe that? I watched this, I was like, is this Sweden or Afghanistan? Like, I could not imagine. So I was asking myself, what happened? How did it get to this point? Now, apparently, now this is me stating just what's happening. Sweden accepted a lot of immigrants. Started back then in the 90s, I think even in the 80s, they were accepting immigrants. There were lots of people who moved from Somalia. In case you did not know, Somalia had a civil war in the 90s. And then many immigrated to Sweden from Somalia. Come 2010s, around that time, that's when ISIS was big. Lots of Syrian refugees moved in. They were accepted into Sweden, the same thing. Now, that's when the issues really amplified. There were always issues because Sweden is not like America. America is more conducive for immigration because they do kind of America has its issues, but you can admit, as an immigrant myself, you come to America, if you look for a job, you can find one and work. Sweden, based from what I've seen, is quite difficult for immigrants to just be getting jobs and stuff like that. Now, that's when these crimes and gangs are recruiting. But let's continue. I'm going to be giving the story in the background, but let's continue. As you watch, please, of course, like, subscribe.
Violence began spiralling in 2022, giving Sweden the highest gun murder rate in the EU. More than 360 gang-related shootings were recorded in 2023, 53 of them fatal. And recruiting a hitman can be as easy as posting an online ad.
This is an example of a chat with gangs, an advert really, a job advert. So what does it say?
Killings, one rabbit, 100,000 euros. That means 1 million Swedish crowns. There are 3 different persons. You will get information about them and you have to put them out, all 3 of them.
So anyone of any age could say, I'll do that for £1 million and then have to go and shoot someone?
Yes.
To find out what's feeding the gangs, we've come to Gottsunda, a neighbourhood where crime and poverty are high. On the corner of high-rise flats, police hang their cameras, keeping watch over an area they say is a hotspot for gangsters. And it doesn't take long to find one.
You could say I've done almost everything, from weapons offences to drugs crime.
What sort of violence have you seen being part of a gang?
I've seen people getting shot, I've seen people die, people getting hurt, mothers crying in despair. I've seen almost everything, but there's nothing you can do about it.
A child of migrant parents, by age 9, Adam was already moving drugs for gangs. He's been jailed 5 times. His name and voice have been changed.
So as you can see, the first gang member is a child of immigrants. Now this is a common recurring theme. Most of the crime, we're gonna be honest here, like speaking the truth, I'm an immigrant myself. Most of the crime is committed by first generation immigrants, children of immigrants. The immigrants themselves, not as much compared to the children of immigrants. They are the ones who do most of the gang activities that I've seen. Now, people are gonna say, no, that's not true, or other immigrants are gonna be thinking that like it's just something that a propaganda that is being said. No, it's not. In the projects or in the hood or wherever, I don't know how they call it in Sweden, but the places with most poverty is mostly immigrants who live there, and it's the easiest to recruit because most do not have jobs and they're having a very hard time adjusting to the Swedish way of life. So you can blame either Sweden not accepting them that much, or you can blame the immigrants for not trying that much, because you cannot immigrate to a country and not assimilate. That's where you're gonna be finding issues with the locals, like in the first video where you saw the white supremacists are also coming out now in defense of Sweden. But let's continue.
How do they recruit people?
In many different ways. For example, in schools or preschools, out on the street, the people who want to make money are often children. Before, if you were going to kill someone, you got 1 million krona, around 75 grand. But now the prices are so low that everyone kills. So now it's 100,000 krona for one person.
Have you ever hurt people for money?
I've done some of those things, yeah.
This is an example of how deadly gang life can be. Here gangsters chase down their rivals, shooting numerous bullets into the car. This time, the victims survived. But Adam knows drug turf wars and jealousy can turn friends into enemies.
Has anyone ever come for you?
Yes, last time was 1 week ago.
1 week ago?
Yeah. They came to my gate, but the boys were there and caught them.
They were going to shoot you?
Yeah, but they didn't succeed. I know who's behind it, but they're done. They're not here anymore.
While gang violence used to be contained to hotspots, it's now bubbling over. In autumn, the government triggered emergency measures including military support for the police. But with more than 60,000 people thought to be connected to organised crime, the violence can break out without warning. As we soon found out.
So we've just got reports that an explosion has happened, so we're going to head to the north of Stockholm and find out what's going on.
Can you believe they're even using bombs? Like they're Al-Qaeda or ISIS. They're using bombs, blowing up apartments. They're shooting everything. It's not like even London. I think London is more of knife crime. But here in Sweden, they're using bombs. They're using guns. It's something that I never thought I would hear in the same sentence with Sweden. Now, the other big issue that also we have to mention, I like speaking the truth here, is the issue of religion. There are many Muslims who moved because Syrians majority are Muslim. Somalis majority are Muslim. And Islam, you cannot really dictate. I know in the Western world we like to dictate and say like you cannot do this, you cannot wear this, no, don't wear hijab and things like that. But Islam, people take their religion very, very seriously. So that one has caused a lot of commotion between the locals and the migrants, because the migrants are either, do I listen to man or do I listen to God? And most of the time they're going to default to God. But that's not really what I want to go deep into, because now I'm going into slippery slope. But the issue of bombs, recruiting children at 9 years old, you cannot all blame it on Sweden. Let's be honest. You cannot all blame it on Sweden not accepting you as a migrant, not doing this. You cannot. It has to start at home. You have to start at home. You have to teach your kids. Now, I know there's going to be crossfire. Your kid might be walking and maybe it's mistaken identity and stuff. But at least you tried from home. You tried to teach your kid the right way. And that's how it should be. But let's continue.
Someone left explosives outside this block of apartments just before midnight. Residents were woken by a blast they said sounded like an earthquake.
Wow.
And that's the neighbor's windows.
Wow. So that's all been blown in?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. And the floor above as well?
Yeah, and there. And one of my friends and their family lives there.
Wow. So that must have been deafening when it went off for you, because you're just next door.
Yeah, like...
So close to where you live.
Close.
Charlotte and her children were asleep in the neighbouring flat when it's thought gangs brought a bomb to the door.
My son is at his friend's house right now.
Is he affected? I mean, is he scared?
Yeah, he's scared.
What's he doing?
He told me it's gonna take a while before I will sleep in my room again.
Neighbours come out to discuss the damage. Amazingly, no one was hurt.
The door was put out.
Yeah, so this is a temporary...
Yeah.
I didn't see the cracks there, but I can see them now.
Gangs have left people feeling afraid to go out and unsafe staying in.
This is where the bombs come in, blown that off, cracked all this, all along there, the ceiling's coming down, that door's showing pock marks of all the impact, the tile's gone, and even up to the higher levels the damage is felt.
While gang violence is spreading, is deprived migrant communities still bearing the brunt of the killings?
It was an explosion, shooting.
All the time?
All the time.
Liban began a night watch after his 19-year-old son was gunned down. Hanad Liban wasn't part of a gang. At one point it said a murder was happening here every week.
Someone was killed in the pizza place.
Yeah.
Behind the back of the flats.
Yeah.
At the school.
Yes.
It's a lot of young men to die here.
Yes.
Sweden's past pro-immigration stance led to an influx of asylum seekers, but a lack of integration and opportunities left many isolated.
Yeah, the immigration, assimilation, integration, whatever you want to call it, yes, it's true, it does happen, but as I mentioned before, it starts at the home. Because how do these 9-year-olds get recruited and everything? The parents have to also be responsible. Now, as I was watching this, I was asking, where are the police? Where is the Swedish police? I know Sweden has like very lax prison stuff, like you get locked up for, 5 months, and the prison is, you have your TV, you get hot stone massage with a happy ending. Like it's like going to a resort. It's like going to a spa in these Swedish prisons. It's not like America. So they definitely gonna have to change the rules, especially for the prisons. They're gonna have to lock up people. And unfortunately, America is normally very good at locking up people, because even if children commit crimes, sometimes they get charged as adults. In this case, I'm pretty sure in Sweden, if you commit a crime as a child, you're gonna get a slap on the wrist. And these kids are the ones blowing up apartments and doing all these things. So it is just sad overall seeing immigrants living in this way, in that they are living in communities that they should be actually policing, because Sweden has locked itself out. They are by themselves. The crime is happening in the community. So it is the community's responsibility. It is. I know it's painful to say. It is painful. But it is the community's responsibility to take care of itself and the kids. Have the kids go to school. Isn't school free in Sweden? Have them go to school. Try to find a job, even in a pizza place. I know they get like £5,000 just selling drugs, but you have to do something for your kids. It cannot always be Sweden. Sweden accepted you into the country, yes? And how do you repay it? I know I should not be saying this as I'm an immigrant myself, but it is the truth. How are you repaying Sweden? You escaped war, you escaped whatever poverty, and then you bring exact the same thing. What's the point? Let's continue.
And suburbs like this became fertile recruitment grounds for gangs. Now Liban and other parents patrol the streets to stop other kids getting shot.
So Liban's just been telling me how brazen some of these gangs are. At one point here, someone was actually shot outside the police station. He said they simply do not care. They feel almost invincible.
Many here feel abandoned, terrified by the gangs, but marginalised by the authorities. The government wants tougher punishments, but Liban says it's better opportunities that will keep people out of crime. These 18, 19 and 20-year-olds are easy to recruit, but they don't have jobs, he tells me. They have nothing to do, they sit at home, work is hard to get, but on the other hand, they can make quick cash.
Sweden has totally failed with integration.
I'm on patrol with Police Superintendent Daniel Larsson in Uppsala, a place on the front line of the fight against gangs. He agrees failed integrations fed the problem, but says it's poverty, not ethnicity, that pushes people into crime.
What is it that makes the gangs attractive to these young kids?
Fast money. It's easier to store narcotics or store weapons or maybe make an explosion than study and get a decent job.
But untrained killers make mistakes. A security guard died when a teenager missed his mark in this busy gym. War weapons heighten the risk.
We have murders, we have shootings, we have hand grenades attacks. If you get a handgun, you can get 3 hand grenades for free.
Hold on. Did he say if you get a gun, you get a grenade for free? Like it's a sale at Costco? Like it's a sale at... Oh man, this. I should not be laughing. It's not a laughing matter, but it's ridiculous how it sounds. Because this is not... It should not be this way. Like Sweden used to be like a model nation where everybody wanted to live there. Like they have good parental leave. They have free university education. They have all these things. But now it's you're even safer living in Afghanistan, it seems, because you won't get shot up. I mean, you're gonna get terrified by the Taliban, but you either choose which Taliban, the Swedish. No, I should stop. It's not anything, but okay. Let me stop and let's continue.
Sweden is the second biggest country of using hand grenades in the world after Mexico.
Gang feuds have fueled the violence here. Where rivals' families were once off limits, they're now fair game.
And this is the house.
Daniel points out the place where a gang leader's mother was shot, sparking revenge attacks. One night, someone planted a bomb at a rival's relatives. They were out, but an innocent neighbour was killed in her sleep. Daniel shows us what's left.
Wow. So the dynamite was placed here?
Yeah, between the both houses.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
and it's just
the big,
decimated.
Yeah, a big blast.
2 properties were destroyed. More than 50 others were damaged.
People were afraid, people was crying. So it was a sort of a war scene actually on this place.
Did you ever expect to see that, a war scene in Sweden?
No, actually I didn't see that coming actually. It's too much. Sweden should be a nice and calm country, but they are not calm anymore.
Do you feel like Sweden is a bit at war with the gangs?
Yes. Yeah, a low impact war.
Who's winning?
We.
Do you think the gangs think that?
No, but we are a bigger gang.
My father still comes here every day. His mission is that his candle doesn't burn out.
Frida's brother Musa was murdered when he was 19. Shot in a case of mistaken identity, he had no links to gangs.
This is his home now.
He's one of an increasing number of innocent victims caught up in this bloody battle.
I mean, it's frustrating. Like you're seeing all these innocent people are dying. And I have 2 main people to blame. First, I blame the Swedish government. The Swedish government bears majority of the blame because first, they do not regulate. They just, accepted lots of immigrants. And that one, of course, they did not pay attention into what's going to happen. So it is the Swedish government with also their lax policies that have caused things to be this way, that they are the main culprit, because people moved in, and on top of that, the prison sentences are very light. You send someone to prison, they get massage, they get all these things, a gift bag, happy ending, like all these things that you get in prison. That it's gonna cause repeat crime. Also, I blame the immigrants. Yes, I said it. But who is committing these crimes? Let's just look at it. Who is committing these crimes? Yes, there are some Swedish people who are there, the white supremacists, doing the Sieg Heil and everything left and right. But they normally take opportunity when the government is failing somewhere, that's where they get more recruitment and support. If the government was working fine, most of these people normally are in the underground. They try to hide. So, majority of these crimes are being committed by us, immigrants. We, in our communities, we are the ones blowing up this stuff. We are the ones, deleting each other. So we have to accept responsibility in that. You cannot just blame Sweden for everything. They opened the doors for you. It is your responsibility how you pay them back. Also, if you cannot, we can always go back. We can always go back to our countries. But this is their country. We moved into it. And now we want to blow it up and everything, when we have the option of going back to our country and blow up our own country. So I know it sounds like I'm a pick me. I want to be the good immigrant siding with. No, I like to speak reality. Because even if it is me living in a community and some idiots are shooting left and right, blowing up stuff, I'm going to lose my mind. Whether it is black, whatever color, I will lose my mind. So that is the truth, and I see why there is the rise in this anti-immigrant sentiment, because the actual immigrants it is their responsibility, are not doing jack shit to, stop all this. But let's just watch 1 minute and then I'm done with this.
Och de tar ju den vägen förbi alla tre portar.
Frida shows us the place Musa was killed. She says the gunman came from the car park, shooting her brother in the back. He died minutes from home. One of his killers was just 15. His age meant he was sentenced to just 4 years.
4 years. 4 years for killing someone. Can you believe that? In America, they would lock you up and charge you as an adult, life in prison. 4 years watching TV, eating whatever they eat in Swedish prison, I don't know, ham, salami or whatever. You need to slap that salami and, charge them properly. Yeah, I'm done with this video.